Welcome back, I'm Matt Champagne. We've been talking these last 3 videos about how to create lifers, how to turn your satisfied customers into lifers. And I made a challenge to you in the first video that if you're like me, if you're into customer retention, satisfaction, engagement, voice of the customer, if you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, we have a decision to make, and that is, do we want to just have satisfied customers that are with us temporarily, or do we want lifers? In creating these videos and coming up with the best possible content to give you, I've reflected a lot on these principles, and it reminded me a lot of a scene from a movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I know you've probably seen the movie, so I'll just describe this briefly on a simple level. In this one scene, the bad guys are digging for treasure. They've stolen a map, and now they know where the treasure is buried in the sand, and they've brought on hundreds of people to dig and find the treasure. And our hero, Indiana Jones, and his friend are looking from a distance in dismay because they can see these guys are going to dig up the treasure. But the wise man in the room calls them over and says, "Oh, no, come here, take a look." And he shows them a relic. And on the relic, it's written, in order to find the treasure, you must be in a certain place at a certain time of day, and the sun will shine where the treasure is buried. And Indiana Jones says, yeah, we know that. That's why the bad guys are out there digging up the treasure. He goes, no. On the other side of the relic, it says, and you must be carrying a staff of a certain height. And Indiana Jones turns to his friend and says, I thought there was only one side to that map. And he says, there was. I saw it with my own eyes. And they look at each other and smile, and they say, they're digging in the wrong place. They only had one side of the map. They didn't have the other side. They didn't even know about the other side. And it reminds me a lot when I told you that story about the technology that my students and I built and how the billion-dollar companies had come in and stolen the technology. They stole the technology and they didn't steal the theory. It was the two of them together that made all the success. But they didn't know about the theory. They didn't have the other side of the map. They're digging in the wrong place. And you know this as well because you've probably used some of the tools that have come out of that over the years. SurveyMonkey, SurveyGizmo, Qualtrics. I mean, there's about 160 different companies that gather feedback using this technology. But it doesn't have the other side. They're digging in the wrong place. You need to apply the theory, the 9 principles, to have all the success that you need. So here we are in video 4. In video 1, I shared the principle of training the respondents. And in video 2, we talked about closing the loop. And in video 3, we talked about timing and frequency. If you missed any of those videos, you'll want to pause this now, watch those videos first, and come on back. As I said in the earlier videos, the promise of the 9 principles of feedback are 2. One is that you are going to gather true feedback, and second, that you will create lifers. True feedback is so important now because everybody seems to be the best, right? You ask anyone, they have the best products, the best customer support. I've never walked into a school that they said, well, we have kind of mediocre teachers. No, they have the best teachers. Everyone has the best. That's kind of the baseline, right? But when you have true feedback, you'll have verifiable, quantifiable outcomes. This is one of the best benefits of the 9 principles, is being able to demonstrate the quality of your feedback, the quality of your products, the quality of your customer service. But it also has the super bonus of creating lifers. And this is absolutely essential. 5 or 6 years ago, I wouldn't have said this. In this day of exponential abundance, with 3 billion people coming online soon to have competing products, with all the abundance we have now, anyone who's a satisfied customer is somebody who's shopping. When somebody says, oh yeah, we have satisfied customers, they're a 9 on a 10-point scale. Our customers are promoters. I say, oh, well, your customers are shopping then, right? Oh, no. Our customers give us testimonials and they rate high on our net promoter score. I say, well, you have people who are shopping. If they're not lifers, they're gonna eventually find the next shiny new object, and they're gonna find someone else that can offer similar products and services as you. So let's continue our training to create lifers, to gather true feedback. We haven't even covered all the principles yet. We talked a little about principles 3, 5, and 7, gave you a few tips, but there's so much more. We haven't covered principle 1, which is about the purpose. It's the foundation of having a single purpose when you're gathering your feedback. We haven't talked much about Principle 2, which is about the design. We talked about asking the right questions in the right way, but Principle 2 gets right down to the nitty-gritty. How do I frame my questions? How do I structure my response scales? There is a right way to do this so you're getting the most meaningful feedback. We haven't yet covered Principle 4, participation and ownership, and we haven't much touched on Principle 6, incentives. Incentives are such a key role, but I believe everyone's doing them wrong. People are giving financial incentives. When you have lifers, you don't need the financial incentives. I've saved companies thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, who are spending so much money on incentives to get people to fill out their surveys, to get people to respond. It's not necessary when you use the 9 principles of feedback. We haven't yet talked about Principle 8, the reporting, how to create at-a-glance reports, how to best deliver results to the people that need it, when they need it, in the amount that they need. And we haven't talked about the mode of delivery, tablets and phones and social media and email and calls. This all goes into the principles. And when you use all 9 principles together, that's what drives us. That's what creates customer loyalty, engagement, the success, meaningful outcomes, and lifers. And that's why I want you to join me for another 6 weeks of this training to give you more videos like this, but in much more detail. We're going to go really deep into each principle, give you the templates, the forms, the checklists that you need to apply each principle to what you're already doing, whether you use social media, web-based surveys, paper surveys, email, phone, whatever way you gather feedback, that's the vehicle. We're going to go deep into each principle and show you stepwise how to apply these to not only gather true feedback, but to create lifers. So I'm inviting you now to join my course, a 6-week new course I've built on the 9 principles. It's the same cost as all my other courses, $995. But since you're here, since you've watched these videos, I know you have a lot to contribute to this course. You're not going to pay $995. And I'm adding a few bonuses that are really going to help this course. In addition to the 6 weeks of training, I have created a 6-month-long platform where we all can join together. After the course ends, we're going to bring us together as experts in this field, as people interested in customer engagement, customer retention, and satisfaction, to share what we're doing, share what we're learning, talk about the principles. I can answer all your questions. And that's a new feature I've added to this program I haven't added to any other course before. I'm also going to make available my most recent course, which is on survey traps, how to avoid the traps found in most every web-based platform. All of us use some form of SurveyMonkey, SurveyGizmo, Qualtrics. There's many other tools. They all have traps built in, and I've watched this over the years as people use the default settings on these tools, and they fall into these traps where they get fewer responses, they get less meaningful information. I built a whole class around that concept. I'm going to give you that $99 course for free if you join my 9 principles course. I've also added something special to this course I haven't done before, and that is put together 2 live webinars for all my students. We're going to do this somewhere around week 3 and week 6 of the course. I'll bring everyone together. I'll answer every question that you have, difficulties you had applying the material, new things that you discovered. I'm going to answer these questions. We can share all that we've learned. You're going to learn so much from the other students in the class. As another bonus, if you're like me, who likes to listen to material in the car while I don't have my hands free, I've taken all the material and turned it into audio files so you can download the same content and listen to it on the go. And I've added one final bonus, and that is what I call the survey critique. I'm going to share with you a survey that I've critiqued with all the principles and with my 30-item checklist. This is something I've done for 20 years. I've reviewed and critiqued more than 6,000 surveys, strengthening them, changing the response scale, tightening them up so they're asking the most relevant, meaningful questions in the right way. I'm going to walk you through this in a live version to show you which items needed to be changed, how you can apply the principles to a survey to make it a much stronger measure. So all these bonus, my free course, the experts platform, the audio files, the survey critique, the 2 free webinars, it's about $2,000 in bonuses. For those of you that are watching this video, I really want you in this course now. I'm going to make these bonuses at no cost to you, but I want to go a step further. If you've watched these videos, you're probably the kind of expert that we need in this class. If you'll enroll now, I'm going to give you all those bonuses and cut the cost of this course in half. We need to start these webinars on a particular date so we're all there. I need to open the membership experts access on a certain date. You can enroll in this course next month if you wish. It'll be $995 and I can't offer those bonuses. So if you'll enroll now, the cost to you is just $497 for the entire 6 weeks of training and all the bonuses, the audio files, the live webinars, the access to the experts site, the live survey critique, and my free course. I know this will be the most useful, meaningful training you'll get this year. If you don't agree, if you're dissatisfied, there's a money-back guarantee. You can stay in the course for 15 days. You can watch 2 whole weeks. If you're not happy, I'll send back your money, no questions asked. So let's continue what we've started here, making your satisfied customers into lifers, helping you gather true feedback. Click the Enroll Now button below, and I'll see you in class.